technology, breaking news, insight, analysis. You're listening to WRLWND Radio.
Hey everyone, this is Marcello Sukhdeo. The big news this week is that Apple announced 3 new iPhones, including its biggest and most expensive model yet, and a new Apple Watch Series 4. Is it worth it to upgrade your iPhone or Apple Watch? That's the question I will tackle in this episode of WRLWND Radio. At its special event, Apple announced 3 new iPhones. These phones are already being criticized by people around the world for lacking innovation, and it has been seen as a part of Apple's strategy to increase revenue by increasing the prices of these phones. Now, the new phones are the iPhone XR, the iPhone XS, and the iPhone XS Max. Here's a clip from the event of the different iPhones, storage, and prices. Roll clip 1.
Thank you. Well, iPhone XR will come in 6 finishes and in 3 sizes. 64 gigabytes, 128 gigabytes, and 256 gigabytes of storage. And it will start at $749. That's less expensive than the iPhone 8 Plus. Really proud of the work the team has done on that. You can order it in just over a month, October 19th, and it'll start to ship a week later than that, October 26th. iPhone XS will come in 3 configurations, 64 gigs, 256 gigs, and that new 512 gigabyte storage capacity. It starts at $999. An iPhone XS Max, same 3 configurations with its larger screen, larger battery, with just $100 more, starting at $1,099.
So there you have it. These iPhones are bigger, faster, and more expensive. And that is the strategy that Apple is using to continue growing its revenue. By making the phones larger and faster, and then charging more for them, the company is milking a product line that has already saturated the market. The new iPhones would start at $750, $1,000, and $1,100, as we have just heard. The starting prices last year were $700, $800, and $1,000. So we can see a jump in the price point. And this is a tried and true strategy for the company. Let me explain. Unit sales of the iPhone were about flat in the last quarter compared with a year earlier. But iPhone revenue rose 20%. So how is that possible? Well, something else rose by 20%. The average selling price of the iPhone went up by 20%. So by going bigger, Apple is trying to justify price increases while increasing revenue even if sales remain the same. But there is something else as well. By going bigger in size, they are trying to get users to use their phones even more. Now, research shows that people with larger smartphones use them more, like to watch movies and play games. And that's good for Apple. As part of this strategy, Apple is trying to get existing iPhone owners to pay for more services on their iPhones, like for example subscribing to Netflix and HBO. When someone signs up for a subscription for Netflix or HBO on the Apple Store, Apple gets a 30% cut for the first year and 15% for each year after. That seems to be working well for the company, as its services revenue rose by 31% last quarter. Now, for those in Canada, the iPhone XS starts at $1379. The iPhone XS Max starts at $1519. So you have to dish out more than $1,500 to get the bigger iPhone. And that's a lot of money for many people. I don't think it's worth it to pay so much money for just incremental changes to the iPhone. A bigger screen, a bigger battery, a better camera, and dual SIM. Dual SIM? I had a phone about 10 years ago with dual SIM. So Apple is way behind if they think that dual SIM is innovative. I can see the need for dual SIM, especially for countries in Asia, where people would normally have two numbers and that they will switch to and fro from, like between work and personal. But in all of this, there is nothing here to make you want to pull out 15 bills in Canada or 11 in the US to get the iPhone XS Max. Another thing that is causing a lot of stir around the world is the naming of these new iPhones. If you didn't watch the special announcement or have heard anything about the iPhones in the news, then when reading it, you may wonder, how do I say that? Last year, for the iPhone's 10th anniversary, Apple skipped the iPhone 9 and went straight to the iPhone X. But of course, it's pronounced the 10 and not X, as we know. That X has created an awkward situation for Apple. The company would normally add S to the name of its second generation of phones, like the iPhone 5S, the 6S, and so on. But this year, that meant calling the iPhone XS. XS is the abbreviation for extra small. So I don't think that Apple would want to call its $1,000 phone the iPhone extra small. But if you say XS out loud, try it. XS. Did you hear that? It sounds like iPhone XS. And that would not be great for branding for Apple as well. Hey, I have an iPhone XS. Now, instead, the iPhone XS is pronounced iPhone XS. But if you say it out loud quickly, you realize that you're saying iPhone tennis. That's tennis, Tennis. Now, if you add the new iPhone XS Max to the mix, you get iPhone Tennis Match. Or, well, something like that. Alright, enough of making fun at the iPhones. I think the biggest announcement that was about the Apple Watch Series 4. And here's Tim Cook talking about the Apple Watch at the event. Clip 2.
We're thrilled by how much the Apple Watch has grown in such a short period of time. I mean, to think this category didn't even exist just a few years ago. And now, Apple Watch is being embraced by so many people around the world. Apple Watch is not only the number one smartwatch in the world, it's the number one watch, period. Apple Watch has redefined what a watch can do for you. It's the integration of breakthrough technology and powerful software and world-class services that bring it to life. For millions of people around the world, Apple Watch has become an indispensable part of their daily lives by helping them stay connected, to be more active, and to live a healthier day.
So as Tim pointed out, the Apple Watch Series 4 has been redesigned to have a more health focus. And this is the first time that Apple has redesigned its watch since it was launched in 2015. The new watch is slightly thinner and has a larger display area. Apple said that the new watch has a faster processor and better health and motion sensors. For instance, the watch can detect when a wearer has fallen down and would prompt the person to alert for emergency services. If it detects that no motion by the wearer after a minute or so, it calls automatically. Clip 3.
One of the leading causes of injuries worldwide is falls. So whether you slip off a step ladder or you trip on a curb, a hard fall can be serious and it can be difficult to get immediate help. Well, now Apple Watch Series 4 can detect a fall. It's interesting. Identifying a fall may sound like a straightforward problem, but it requires a tremendous amount of data and analysis. We conducted studies with thousands of people over a long period of time, and we captured data on real-world falls, and we learned something. We learned that with falls, there's this repeatable motion pattern that happens. For example, when you trip, your body will naturally pitch forward and your arms will go out involuntarily to brace yourself. However, if you slip, there's a natural upward motion of the arms. Well, these are motions Series 4 is ideally suited to recognize. With a new accelerometer and gyroscope, the watch analyzes risk trajectory and impact acceleration to determine when a fall occurs. And after detecting a fall, Series 4 delivers an alert. And from that alert, you can initiate an emergency call. However, if the watch senses you are mobile for 1 minute, it will start the call automatically. And it also sends a message with your locations to your emergency contacts using the SOS feature that is already built into Apple Watch. Fall detection is a feature that we hope you never need, but it's really nice to know it's there.
Yes, it is a neat feature to have, fall detection, especially for seniors who live alone. Being able to make that call to emergency services, even if you're not able to do so. Another feature, the first of its kind on an over-the-counter device, is that the watch can perform an electrocardiogram, alerting you to worrisome heart rhythms. Clip 4.
We wanted to do even more in this space, and so we're announcing 3 new heart features. First, a notification if your heart rate appears to be too low. Now, generally, a low heart rate is thought to be a good thing, but if it's too low, it might mean that your heart's not pumping enough blood to the body, and that could be a sign of something serious, and now Apple Watch can detect it. The second feature is related to heart rhythm, and this is a big deal. Apple Watch can now screen your heart rhythm in the background, and it sends you a notification if it detects an irregular rhythm that appears to be atrial fibrillation. Now, it won't catch every instance of AFib, but we believe this is going to help a lot of people who didn't otherwise know they had an issue. The first 2 features, they're powered by the optical sensor. The third feature is made possible by a new electrical heart sensor on Series 4. We've added electrodes into the back sapphire crystal and the digital crown, allowing you to take an electrocardiogram. It's otherwise known as an ECG, and this is the first ECG product offered over the counter directly to consumers. An ECG measures the electrical activity of the heartbeat, and it's used by physicians to help diagnose certain heart diseases and other conditions. And so now you can take an ECG anytime, anywhere, right from your wrist. You just open the app and you put your finger on the digital crown.
Being able to do an ECG from your smartwatch is a game changer. The only concern I have about this is if it's going to produce accurate results. Now, when we receive news that something's not right with our health, we tend to worry and stress about it. So having a result to say that something is wrong when it's not, it would add undue worries to wearers. Now, Apple said that they have been approved by the Food and Drug Administration, and that's a positive for this technology. But as I pointed out, I'm still not too sure if the results will be accurate. It's like using Google to diagnose what's wrong with you after having certain symptoms. And in most cases, as you know, is not what we thought Google says we have. In this case, I know it's different, as the Apple Watch is a device that is running the ECG test. But as with devices, there's always the possibility that it may not be accurate, especially just using your finger to conduct that test. The new iPhones and the Apple Watch Series 4 will be available in the next few weeks. And if you're looking to upgrade to one of the new iPhones, you may want to consider maybe going for last year's models, the iPhone 8 or the iPhone 10. I don't think it's worth it to get the new iPhones. For the Apple Watch Series 4, with its new health features, this version of the watch is a good one to upgrade to. For example, if you have the Series 1, getting the Series 4 would be a good fit for you. It's also a good choice for the older folks. Maybe we'll see many more grandparents getting the Apple Watch Series 4 this Christmas and asking their grandkids to help them figure it out. Well, that's our update on the Apple event. Special thanks to my producer Lasky Hart and from the rest of the team here at Whirlwind. This is Marcello Sukhdeo saying stay safe in the technology world.